Hi, I'm Andros J.
I'm Dominic King.
I'm Edin Rise.
And I'm Vickie.
And you're listening to the Enigmatic podcast. Hello and welcome to the Enigmatic podcast. I'm Andros J. Due to recent events, Dominic King will not be in this podcast today. So you've got myself, Andros J, Edin Rise, Vickie, and my very lovely guest who I've got with me today, Horus Cameron.
That's Horus Cameron, the greatest politician of all time.
My sincerest apologies there. Horus, I want to say thank you for coming on. Take your time out of your day to come talk to us.
Obviously, as a politician, I think it's most important that I get my message to the people, and I think this podcast is I don't have a word for it, but it is what it is, and I'm here to get my message out.
Right, so we'll try and do it the best we can. So we're just going to ask you a few questions here. So we just want to know more about you. So we saw you appear at Genesis Professional Wrestling, and I'd personally like to know, obviously, as a politician, not that I'd think that you'd be into wrestling. So how did you get into wrestling?
Wrestling was something that I got into with my father. We went to IPW, FPW and Hamlock shows mainly. And that's pretty much the thing that kind of got me into wrestling. Eventually that kind of led into watching more. So it wasn't even WWE for the longest time that I was watching. It was Chikara and other indie promotions. Progress as well. And eventually that kind of led to the kind of WWE and TNA, New Japan, right, stuff like that. But it was mainly the indie stuff that got me into it.
Cool. So that's really interesting. So it's obviously, was your dad quite a big fan of wrestling as well to help you get into that?
My dad has been a massive wrestling fan for years. The reason we hadn't really watched WWE was because of the fact that he was kind of turned off to it. He didn't like the content it was putting out at the time.
Right.
And that's where he encouraged me to come to the indie shows with him.
Right.
So, yeah, it was kind of sort of surreal having a very different entry point to wrestling when it's not the traditional, I watched like Taker or the Hardy Boys or this
exactly
team
that.
here or that.
Yeah, so
singles wrestler there.
I think people completely don't always understand the fact that how lucky we are to have that alternative for the indie wrestling as well. No, that's really, really cool. Like, it's very, very different. So obviously you are the greatest politician of all time, and I'm not going to argue that at all. But how does being in politics, and how does that help you tie in with wrestling? How does that help you with your wrestling career as well as being a politician?
Politics is negotiation and debate. With wrestling, it is also, in the capacity that I am in at the moment, I am also negotiating and debating and changing things for a better Gen Pro. My sole intention is to change Gen Pro. And politicians, their goal is to change the country or wherever the different countries that they want to basically make an influence towards. So I'm just doing it in a very different capacity. I want to change wrestling, and Gen Pro is a great start to that.
Yeah, massively. So do you believe that you can take Gen Pro to the top of the indie circuit, to the top of the entire wrestling industry with you at the forefront?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have so much confidence that I, as the greatest politician, can push Gen Pro to become the best product it could possibly ever be. And I don't think anyone will question that.
Right. So obviously we all know at the last Gen Pro show, Gen Pro 2, you came out after Leo Strong's match.
Yes.
And you're now the advocate for Leo Strong. But what I'd like to know is that Gen Pro has quite a big roster full of lots of talented guys. Why Leo Strong out of everyone there? Did you choose Leo Strong?
Well, let's look at Leo Strong's career. We start with Gen Pro. Well, let's start with Gen Pro 1. He was in the Genesis Professional Tournament to determine the first world champion.
Right.
He won the first round. He won his second round. The third round, he came up short against the Damned, and he was just he didn't get to take the title home. Then we look at the Gen Pro 2. We look at his match against C.W. Davies. He, again, came up short in the match. And I saw something that to advocate someone, to watch him progress in that tournament and to see his ability to just come up short in places showed me that with a bit of my unrivaled guidance, I could lead him to be where he should have been at the first show, holding that world championship.
So you believe, honestly, 100% that with your help within the next couple of shows, Leo Strong will be Genesis Professional Wrestling World Champion?
At the next show, he has a match with the Damned and Callie Gray to win the World Championship. And I am certain that with the guidance I'm going to provide him, he's going to take that title.
Well, you've heard it here, folks. May 9th, Leo Strong will be your next Genesis Professional Wrestling World Champion. So what I personally want to kind of do is what I've already asked again the rest of the guys at Enigmatic. What does the future hold for Horus Cameron? Is Horus Cameron looking to get into the ring? Are you more than happy to build up the wrestling scene? Do you want to take a step away and focus on politics? Or what is it that's your big aim goal? Where would you like to end up in the next, say, 10 years or so?
I'm looking at this from a perspective, and where I am right now, I am leading the next top star. And with the advancement of the next top star, I could definitely see myself at some point just be surpassing a top star. When I train hard enough and when I work to the level that I do, I can, in the next 10 years, make it so far. I am certain that I have that charisma, that talent. I'm the greatest politician of all time, and I'm sure that I could also be the greatest pro wrestler of all time.
Wow, that is a very big statement right there, Mr. Cameron. So last night was WrestleMania, and obviously it's WrestleMania weekend. It stretched over 2 days. We're about to have Vickie and Edin join us, and we're gonna give you our thoughts on WrestleMania Night 1 with our very special guest, Horus Cameron, the greatest politician. I'm now joined by Vickie and Edin Rise, along with the greatest politician, Horus Cameron, to discuss WrestleMania. You're allowed to speak. There we go. Twice in a row this has happened to me. I just love being caught on that. Yeah. So, WrestleMania Night 1. What's our thoughts so far?
Well, the thing is, it was going to be surreal. We're in a point in life now where we're watching WrestleMania in front of an empty arena. But what WWE have done is they've conspired to give you something that was less of a wrestling show, more of an action movie. The way it was cut, because of all the pre-tape stuff, it gave a feel that it was just an action sequence, which I quite liked, kind of cut away from the surreal feel of just having no crowd to react.
Yeah.
I personally think that, like, even though it was in a empty arena, it was still better than what I personally expected. Like, the wrestlers all still gave it the WrestleMania feel. They still put on some pretty good matches, in my opinion.
It's difficult when there's absolutely no crowd whatsoever, and there's no one. You're waiting for that WrestleMania moment, the big pops, the big cheers, and they're not getting that whatsoever. No. That's really hard for any wrestler to work with that. It's completely different to working a crowd and the crowd's just dead than not having a crowd.
Yeah.
But they all did really, really well. So let's go on to the first match, which is Gulak and Cesaro. So what's our thoughts on that one?
I mean, I thought it was really good, personally. I really, really, really enjoyed that match.
I think it went a bit too fast.
Right.
The match went way too fast. I think they should have had a longer time.
The thing about these two guys, they're both two guys who have been massively underused by WWE. Both of them are remarkably talented, but as most cruiserweights do, Gulak still remains attached to the pre-show. They did the best with the time they were given, it's just they weren't given time.
Yeah.
And they're both like technical masters. They can go and put on an amazing match. It's just unfortunate they weren't given the time to do so.
I really loved like the ending of the match when Cesaro did the like spin, but like, oh, it was so good.
No-handed spin.
No-handed spin, brilliant.
The man's a monster. He is surreal how strong he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Surreal. So next is the women's tag. Thoughts?
For the whole of it, I was entertained by it.
Yeah. Personally, for me, out of everything that night, it's got to be probably one of the best matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
At least top 3 of the night.
If you look at it, probably one of the most entertaining matches on the card. I wouldn't probably say one of the best, but in terms of being entertained, which is what WWE strives to do, then yes, I was thoroughly entertained by the women's tag match.
I mean, for me, it was massively entertaining. I loved Asuka's screams. I loved her dance moves. It was incredible for me. And like, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy that like Alexa and Nikki got to go over and like be the champions.
Yeah.
But
so going from that, as entertaining as it was, did WWE do the right thing by putting over?
Absolutely. Based on current circumstances, no. Asuka's just come out of a massive feud with Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
She's been the one person that Becky Lynch could not beat. She's just gone for the Raw Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble, and now she's losing tag matches. It doesn't make sense. I know they wanted to get the titles off them, but at the same time, they could have eased this into something completely different. They could have taken the titles off them at some point around before she was feuding with Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
And instead they've just made it look like she's been reduced to back when she was just after she lost at WrestleMania 34, when they just completely forgot about her with that awful Carmella feud.
Yeah.
It's like the way they've been booked recently. I think they're planning to split them both up.
And obviously with contracts starting to come to an end, they're going to take that into consideration very, very highly with competition now around looking to poach.
Exactly.
It's
obviously because you've got AEW. Stardom is always interested in Kyrie.
You'll always want her back.
Yeah.
So
she had amazing gear though, I have to say.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And with the pirate theme, you thought that would been straight up the other. They were really pushed with Kyrie on that, but if circumstances are what they are now, I imagine her and Asuka would have had a really grand entrance. It would have been really something to look. But
definitely a great way to open the start of the main show.
Yeah.
So next we've got Corbin and Elias. Personally, myself, I weren't too interested in this from the get-go.
I didn't watch it.
This match got the same reaction from no crowd as it would from a 90,000 filled stadium.
Who won?
Who
won?
King Corbin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't think many people. I think this was kind of just almost like a break match to go into a bigger match. But again, they did well for what they had, but I just don't think many people are interested by it.
It cooled down nicely from what the fun, entertaining match we had last time. But again, it was one of these WrestleMania matches where it was just stuck on the card. It wasn't really built. It just kind of.
And usually with Manias, I usually find that they build it so you gradually go up. And we've gone from this really fun, energetic, high tag team match, and it just dipped with Corbin and Elias. And then we're expected to go back up again, which is really hard if there's a crowd. Yet they're not a crowd and trying to get people to tune in.
Yeah.
So we got Shayna and Becky next.
I like the way they portrayed Shayna as a brutal heel. They even gave Becky her shots to be in that coming back, but I just think the ending just messed it up completely.
Yeah, I was personally quite let down by that match.
Yeah.
This was ride or die in my eyes for Shayna Baszler. You look at what they've done with Shayna Baszler. They've portrayed her as an absolute monster. From the Royal Rumble, but even before at Survivor Series, she was an absolute monster. I felt that instant chemistry with Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch. And they've moved on to the Royal Rumble after that awful triple threat match. The Rumble, she eliminated, I think it was 7 or maybe 8 women in the space of 3 minutes. They gave the win to Charlotte, which they probably shouldn't have done if they wanted this massive feud with her and Becky. We then look at where it kind of dipped with the whole vampire biting the back of the neck. That was awful. And then instantly, with the Elimination Chamber match, which was massive backlash for, she was portrayed as a monster. She came in and within the space of 20 minutes had just decimated everyone. And the way she lost, in a way that is... She has used that Kirifuda clutch and she genuinely looks like she will kill you.
Yeah.
And this is the most annoyingly cliche and overused way to reverse it and get the win. It's completely destroyed the Shayna Baszler aura simply because she looks like an idiot.
Yeah. And the thing is that got me is when she did get pinned, she seemed very confused by it. She didn't say, she seen when Becky had won, she kind of sat up and she didn't look pissed, she didn't look angry. She looked more confused from the way I saw it.
Yeah.
Which is, for someone who's a monster as that, you're going to go after Becky and beat... you're going to beat down her. You ain't going to be happy that you've just lost at Mania and you've lost that championship.
The things they've ignored was she's a cage fighter. She would not let opponents come out over her head or to the side. She would wrap her legs around and tap her out.
Yeah. She's a smart fighter, and the way they portrayed her in this match, it's made her look very silly.
It's also, just for the Elimination Chamber, she defeated all their women. That's put her above them, and now they put Becky over. What does that do to all the people she's beaten?
And beaten very quickly as well. It was she almost squashed them.
Who does Becky see as a legitimate contender now? Becky has beaten every challenger. There is no NXT star who has the level for a call-up that could remotely be seen as a match for Becky. She's beaten the one woman, the most dominant woman in NXT. She beat the one woman she couldn't beat, who was the most dominant woman in NXT before Shayna. There is no one that is believably going to be able to beat Becky.
The only woman left, and I think that could do it. Santina Marilla. She's the only one that's going to do it.
Of course.
She is the only one.
100%.
I think moving swiftly onwards.
Triple threat ladder match.
Oh,
Only one tag partner. Okay, only one.
Interesting.
Honestly.
Yes.
I thought it was incredible. Like, the energy was still very high, even though obviously it was an empty arena. They gave their absolute all. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the best matches of the night.
Yeah.
I understand why it became that weird tag title match with the whole incident with the Miz. But John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and Jimmy Uso all put on a thoroughly entertaining ladder match. With these ladder matches at WrestleMania, they always have to feel big. You're going up against the likes of WrestleMania 17's triple threat ladder match.
Yeah, exactly.
That will always be remembered as the greatest ladder match in WrestleMania history.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best ladder matches in wrestling history.
Yeah.
So to put on something so entertaining that might not quite stand up to par was a great show from all three of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what I find as well is triple threat matches can be boring anyway.
Yeah.
And then you start putting ladders in, you're like, okay, let's see how this goes. But all three men put on just a really splendid match.
Yeah.
And again, like what I think I've said previously is, I feel really bad for the wrestlers who are returning, the wrestlers who are expected to have this big moment, make their debuts at Mania, and there's no crowd.
Yeah.
So people like Morrison, he's like, oh, I'm really happy, I'm really excited to see Morrison back. No crowd. But again, I'm happy they kept the titles on Miz and Morrison. I thought that was the right move. I think it'd be too stale to see the New Day win again. It'd be too stale to see the Usos win again, because it's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Let a fresh team take the run for a little bit.
I mean, the ending of the match, some people don't like it, but I personally think it was pretty good. I loved the ending of the match, really.
I think a few people was a little more confused by it when they hooked it off, and all three of them was there fighting all over it, and Morrison then decides, oh, when there's no point fighting, I'll just take the straps off and just win it myself.
Well, they hit him off the ladder and he managed to grab it. And I thought that was really good. It was kind of like an accidental win kind of thing.
The other interesting thing about keeping those titles on the Miz and Morrison is it's been years since we've seen Miz and Morrison, and now we have a completely different tag team field in WWE.
Yeah.
So we get to see a very different blend of matches, especially with the Superstar Shake-Up probably coming quite soon.
Yeah.
We'll get to see very new matchups, which will hopefully be quite different, quite original matchups that we haven't seen thousands of times.
Yeah. And what I like as well, it's almost the same Miz and Morrison as we had years ago. They've just grown up now. Yeah. They've matured. Their wrestling abilities have gotten so much better since then. And that's what I'm quite happy to see. Like, I'm a big Morrison fan anyway, so it's really glad to see that. So moving swiftly on, we got Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan.
I liked it.
Right, so that's a yes from Edin.
It wasn't a good match.
Yeah.
It was not something of the caliber of Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn has been underlooked so much by WWE.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is one of the greatest assets WWE has at the moment, and this was not the greatest quality of match that they could have put on. It was just... It was perfect for Sami's gimmick and how he is just the coward. It was the same, but it followed the exact same formula as the Braun Strowman feud. And Daniel Bryan isn't Braun Strowman.
No.
He's not a monster. So why aren't you fighting him back?
Exactly. And the thing is, what's more frustrating is because everyone knows what they're both capable of. They probably could have put on the best match of the night easily.
It could have been
on that night one. Them two could have completely owned night one and really put on something. But I guess that's not what WWE wanted to put on. So
it was interesting to keep the titles on Sami. I was almost certain that they wanted it off of him because they hate him for some reason. But it was nice to see Sami ended up retaining the title.
Yeah, very much so. So next was a match that I personally quite enjoyed. I thought it was quite fun.
Yeah.
Owens and Seth Rollins.
I really liked the match.
Really good match. Rollins' entrance was probably the best of the night.
Yeah.
Phenomenal entrance. That whole "I'm Jesus, look at me" was honestly inspired.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Really
how
good
arrogance and the cockiness coming off Rollins. And the thing is, he's been given so much abuse recently. He's
Yeah.
been given so much, stuff online. People have been, Rollins is getting boring, he's getting dull, he's getting stale. This match has just proved why Rollins is where he is.
Exactly. Like throughout the match, he was very arrogant. He was very much of "I am better than you," and like he was beating Owens down, and it was just so good. I loved it.
Why has Owens got the power to make a match?
That was one part that
Confused
us three
everyone.
It's because
discussed together.
he beat Shane McMahon and took his portion of the company.
Obviously.
That's how it comes into play.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. Very
I'm
much.
sure they wrote that in the contract. But if you knew anything about politics, you know that's not how it works. It was.
That's why he's the greatest politician of his time, and we're just little wrestlers. So that's fine.
Yes.
No, yeah, you're right. It's weird, cool when a wrestler can just grab a microphone and be like, I want this now, and they shouldn't really have the authority to do that.
Yeah, the ref was just like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, especially they should have made a little bit more of a bigger fuss about it, and then gone, we now decided to, instead of just going, oh, okay, KO, you can do that, that's fine.
I mean, like Owens jumping off the sign was an amazing WrestleMania moment. Like,
Yeah,
I called that spot a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
he did.
I thought that.
To be fair, the exact words were, how come someone's decided to jump off that WrestleMania sign yet? And then Kevin goes and does it.
I thought that Rollins had broken a rib or something. That looked brutal.
Kevin probably heard you, by the way. He's like, cheers, you're not going to go do that now.
It's a long.
a very good match, nonsensical in the middle because of what the Owens occurrence, but nonetheless a very good match. And Owens finally gets his WrestleMania moment because he goes on a constant losing streak at WrestleMania.
Yeah, which was really good to see. So next, Goldberg versus Braun Strowman.
I don't want to sound like a bad guy here, but it was very predictable.
Who watched the match? For those who didn't, it was 4 spears, 3 running power slams, and that was it.
Cool. So moving on. No, yeah, he's 100% right. We all know that Goldberg matches are very short anyway.
Yeah.
And we all know Braun is actually very good, and Braun can put on some really good matches. So I was secretly hoping it to be like a big, monstrous, heavy hitting. Obviously, it was never going to be a Goldberg, but that's kind of what I was personally hoping for. Was quite a big, monstrous, kind of 2 big men. And that's what WWE likes. They like big men going at each other, and they just decide to go, no.
So we talked about a level of hierarchy when we talked about the Shayna and Becky match.
Yes.
I'd like to refer back to the idea of hierarchy. Goldberg beat The Fiend in a space of mere minutes. Strowman beat Goldberg in the space of mere minutes. So Strowman should make even easier work of The Fiend. The Fiend's aura has been killed by Goldberg. It's been killed even more by this match. And it doesn't help that this match was so awful and was probably even worse than what the Goldberg-Roman Reigns match was going to be.
Yeah.
Physical.
Yeah. And especially as we've already seen quite a few spears that night anyway, like Kyrie and Goldberg, and obviously we've got night 2 coming up with Edge who uses it as a finisher. It would have just been Spearomania. Like, it's been every match has been throwing the spears. So we can all say quite disappointing. Right move to take off Goldberg though. Give it to the younger talent, someone who's going to be there more often, someone who's going to be able to.
But why?
I think Strowman needed a title.
We needed someone who gets the crowd going. We had the returns of Sheamus recently, and we had the return of Jeff Hardy. So why not someone who will get the crowd excited with the fact they just beat Goldberg?
Yeah. And going on that, before this podcast started, me and Horus were talking, and obviously Hardy recently just came out saying he wants a massive feud with Roman Reigns. So we said, what a perfect opportunity. Hardy to return, WrestleMania, beat Goldberg, then go on to feud with Roman Reigns, eventually drop the belt to Reigns. Would have been perfect. Would have been a really good feud. Obviously, WWE thinks otherwise, but, you know, I'm a Hardy boy, so what can you say?
I know you are.
So, next, we got Taker versus Styles. Very controversial in the wrestling world at the moment with the way it was done. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people really liked it. Personally, for myself, I thought this was amazing. I thought it was so
brilliant.
Well
done.
Yes.
But I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on it.
I enjoyed it so much.
It was a
From-
masterpiece.
And it was over 20 minutes long, but it did not feel over 20 minutes long.
no, it
It felt
didn't.
we'd only been sitting for 5 minutes.
It's interesting to see how WWE has conspired to make a WrestleMania moment in something that we thought was completely devoid of them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the hearse coming in, I was so excited. I was like, oh, Taker's going to come out the hearse. And then it's actually Styles. Like, and then Taker comes in on a motorbike. I was so excited, honestly.
For me personally, it's the best Taker has looked in years.
Oh, without a doubt.
It made me really happy to see that. It's the
man.
Taker that I remember. But going off that, it shows the cinematic wrestling sort of world, sort of the way they portrayed that.
Yeah.
It works. And what Matt Hardy was saying, this does work, this can work if you use the right characters, the right storyline, the right settings.
It's an evolution.
So do you guys think moving forward we're going to see more of this? And would you like to see more of this?
I mean, if it's done at that quality, I definitely want to see more of it.
It depends around the circumstances of the match, I think.
Right.
Because you can't just like put, say, the Riot Squad have a triple threat, have so much that I just don't think that would be right.
Again, like Matt said, it's got to be those right characters. It's got to be the right people, and the storyline and the where they're doing it really has to fit.
Exactly.
And a lot of people gave Matt Hardy a lot of stuff for the final deletion and everything like that, but Matt proved it can work.
Yeah.
Went to WWE, did it again, proved it can still work. And he took a page out of his book and goes, you know, right? What?
Yeah.
You're actually right, Matt.
It was massively entertaining.
And personally, for me, I'm going to go on and say I preferred this on the actual final deletion.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was done. The final deletion itself is amazing. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But the Undertaker, he's something else. And the way they betrayed him was just perfect.
Exactly. I never thought I'd be able to say that this is better than that. But it actually is. Like, I love the moment where, like, Taker was, like, in the hole and then, like, AJ's about to bury him and he's just behind him. Like, such a good moment.
Such an interesting thing that The Undertaker, who has been used by WWE so much over the last few years simply to make a draw, because The Undertaker will always draw, and so many just failed matches that have gone down so badly, and they've, what I hope, have ended his legacy on this high note. It was a combination of everything, you know. You had the American Badass, you had the kind of dead man stuff with the whole graveyard themed match. And what it does is it just shows that when WWE can think about what they're doing with these matches and they can do them well, they love to make these big cinematic drawing matches like the Boneyard match.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this was the best match of the night. Like, it was really exciting to me, and it just made me really happy to see it.
Yeah, I think the only thing coming away from it, as me and Edin spoke, was what happens to AJ Styles from here.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's a very hard position for AJ and the club to get themselves out of this hole.
Yeah.
You know?
Pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be hard, and I'd like to see where they go with that from now on.
Yeah.
But
that was the thing that was worrying me. I like The Undertaker, and obviously I like AJ Styles. It's like, does this leave Undertaker coming back for another match? Does it mean he's over? Or what does this mean for AJ? Because you buried him. If he shows up on Monday or whenever SmackDown's held, it won't make sense.
You know, Styles now going to be taking time off, and he's going to come back at some point. It's going to be really hard. But
I mean, this makes me want to see more of Taker. Like,
yeah,
the new Taker.
I think this has put a few more years. Not that I want to say this, but this possibly, if they do this Boneyard match over the next few more Manias, this will add on to his career.
Yeah.
A few more years until he eventually does have to retire. But I maybe think one more of these, and take on a really big note, really throw some money into the project, and
one more American Badass one. Why not?
See, I'm completely the other way. I think this, with not just the whole just years of Taker, how long he's been with WWE, but also the legacy of WrestleMania and The Undertaker. Yeah. Obviously, he's 25-2 now at WrestleMania. I think this would be the perfect way, because they did it with 33 when he lost to Roman.
Yeah.
They had that retirement, the 10 minutes, put the coat and put the hat on the ring, just leave.
Yeah.
I cried. I thought he was done. I was upset.
Everyone did. It was all on. It was on mainstream news.
Yeah.
That's how big it was.
But this, after all the Saudi stuff that they've done to kind of, they keep getting the Undertaker back to kind of be a draw,
It
and
upsets me.
this has done something to just make his legacy end on such a high note. I think this should be the end of the Undertaker.
Yeah.
This has made Taker come across very, very strong again, and which is exactly what Taker needed. Taker was not as strong as what he was, but he is now looking a lot stronger, which is a very good thing for Taker to end on. So night 1, again, great night. Some good matches, some very, very bad matches. But I'm going to go round in a circle and ask you for your personal favourite match of the night. So starting with Edin.
I would have to say it's between the Styles and the tag match.
Right.
The
You got to pick one
women's
though.
tag
You
match.
can't pick two. You got to pick one.
I'll say the tag match because it was technically an actual match
Yeah.
where I was confused half the time with the Taker match.
Right. Fair.
Yeah.
I want to add in a note here. If you can hear some background noise, the place that we're recording in next was trying to play music quite loudly, so I apologise, and I'm gonna have to go in and super kick someone's face off once this ends. So I'll show you that in a minute. So sorry, Horus Cameron, your best match of the night.
Well, as a politician, I always have two ways to look at things. So I'm looking at this from an entertainment standpoint and a wrestling standpoint. So from an entertainment standpoint, I don't think any match comes close to Undertaker and AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I was so thoroughly entertained by this that it took me out of the no crowd, no nothing to kind of make it WrestleMania, and felt like a massive WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
And from a wrestling standpoint, I would have to go with the Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Both of these men, as much as Rollins is questionable outside of wrestling, they are fantastic competitors, and they put on a great match.
Yeah, 100%.
Just
Victor,
Victor,
who have you got?
just like Horace, I'm going to look at it from a wrestling standpoint and an entertainment
Well,
standpoint.
no, you can't.
Well,
Because,
he's already done it, so I'm
just
going to do
pop
it.
in.
he's a politician.
You
He
don't
can do
make
what
the
he
rules
wants.
here, Andros.
So
Okay, so-
moving on, this
He's
podcast, I
calling
want
me.
to say thank you. So
He's fine. He's recording.
yeah, I am hosting this episode once again due to unfortunate circumstances that we are in. I have to host Vickie. So, in other words, shut up, do as you're told.
I just want to say that EJ annoys me to my core. And
Well,
And EJ loves all who are listening.
yeah.
okay, so as I was saying, before
On the
you rudely
26th of
interrupted-
March, EJ will releasing their fan fiction novel, EJ, The World of No. Carry on.
Okay,
Ideas.
so from an entertainment standpoint, Undertaker and AJ Styles. Love it. It was amazing. It was a masterpiece. Everything I've ever wanted. Like, I'm just so excited. But from an actual wrestling standpoint, I'd have to give it to the women's tag match.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, it was just so entertaining for me, and the quality of the wrestling was just really good, in honesty.
Yeah. Personally, myself, mine's between the triple threat, quotation mark, tag team match, quotation mark, and again, Taker and Styles. Mainly for me, I'm a big John Morrison mark, and I've been trained by him, so he's a great guy. I'm going to throw that in. Yeah, one session, nearly 8 hours, it's fine. Yeah, for me, for what it was, it was really, really good. But again, probably Taker and Styles. So tonight, we're recording this just before Night 2 is taking place, and we're going to run down the match card.
Yep.
And we're going to give our predictions on who we think are going to win.
Yes.
And by the end, we're going to find out if we was right, if we was wrong. So Night 2, again, absolutely stacked again, like the first night. And we got the 5-pack women's match.
Yes.
I feel from this, it has a chance to be entertaining, but the only people I can see I'm actually invested in will be Lacey, Bailey, and Sasha. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Lacey fan
I get
or
that.
Sasha fan. But
If you can't see us right now, I wish you could, because Horus Cameron looks like he's about to punch Edin straight in the
Yep.
face. He is not impressed.
No.
he's going to hit me with the Lacey Evans finisher.
He's going to destroy your words, 'cause that's what politicians do.
Yep.
That's true.
So, how about you stop talking before Horace, our lovely guest, is going to punch you in the face? So, Horace, let's disregard what Edin has to say. Let's move on to you.
I am a man who can probably accurately predict these matches because I am the greatest politician of all time. And let's face it, I probably have a better understanding of these things than all three of you. So, 5-pack women's challenge.
Ouch.
The only person I can see conceivably winning is either Sasha Banks or Bayley.
Right.
Well, I mean, this match, I can see Sasha or Bayley winning it. But personally, I would love to see another Naomi title run. Like, I'm a massive fan of Naomi. I think she's an amazing wrestler. Like, I love her so much. I love her whole glow. I'm
Cool.
really into her, basically.
Moving on. Mine's probably going to be Bayley. I like Bayley anyway. She's gotten stale lately, but I'm still good. What I would like to see is Sasha up to her old tricks and turn Bayley, but we've seen enough of that. But the chance of WWE doing that anyway, because just they're so known for it, it's a good chance to probably do that.
Yeah.
So next match, I'm really excited for this one. Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar.
It should be one of the best matches of the night.
Oh, it should be. I mean,
It
I never
should
thought
be.
that I'd say I'm excited for a Brock Lesnar match, but like, this should be a good match.
Yeah.
This, if Brock tries, then this will be great. If it doesn't, it will be like every other Brock match. It will go 2 minutes, and McIntyre will take an F5 and lose the match. I am personally thinking that this will be one of the good Brock matches, similar to his matches with Styles, Bryan, and Balor.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give the edge to Drew McIntyre.
Right.
It makes sense for him to win, like from being Vince McMahon's top guy, getting fired, going around the world, getting more famous and more bigger.
Yeah, really proving
Come
himself.
all the way here.
I mean, I want there to be like a fight between these two. I want Drew McIntyre to come on top, and end up on top, and I want him to win. It would be just so good.
Yeah, like I've said already, this is sort of what I was expecting with the Goldberg-Strowman match. It's two big men really going at it. And obviously Goldberg isn't quite like that, but Lesnar can go, and Lesnar can wrestle. So that's what I'd like to see is these big guys. And obviously my pick will be McIntyre. I've trained with him as well, I'm just saying. Next, probably the match that I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah.
I know Edin is as well, which is Edge versus Randy Orton. Returning Edge versus the Viper.
I can't wait for this. Every single part of the build to this match has been absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
From the very start when Orton had that horrible attack on Edge on Raw, to the involvement of Matt Hardy and Beth Phoenix, to Edge's return. All of it has been perfect. I am going to be I just see Edge make it seem like he's just busted his neck again. I feel like Randy is clever enough and has the longevity with the company to understand the psychology of this match, how the neck is the perfect psychological way to entertain us. But I think Randy should win the match, but Edge is going to win the match.
Yeah, I think you're right there. What you said about the psychology is he understands that, and to not only entertain us but keep us on the edge of our seats. We're all going to be there wincing. Anything that gets done to Edge's next, we're all going to be there flinching at it, wincing at it, crying at our TV screens to please leave Edge alone.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree with. I'm kind of the opposite way. I really want Edge to win, but I really feel like they're going to give the upset victory and put Randall Keith over. I really think they're going to put Randy over and do it that way.
I mean, I agree with you. I really want Edge to win. I want him to win because he's coming back. It's going to be great to see him wrestle again.
I think for me, it means a lot to me. Those were the two guys that I grew up watching. They were the main top guys, and Raid RKO was my favourite tag team.
Which was in podcast episode 2. That's right out there. There you go.
Yeah, said that. And it feels like I'm going to be watching two of my parents fight, and I don't want to see Rated RKO implode.
Yeah.
The reason I think Edge will win this, and I think that you look at how they do these matches. Usually it's a retirement match. Usually you look at the best example of recent is either Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair or Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
They always put over the guy who's not retiring, which makes sense. But as this is a returning star, I think almost definitely Edge is going to have this match. But I think Randy should win this match. 100%.
Yeah. So, Horseman spoken. There, we're going to go on to Rhea and Charlotte for the NXT Women's Championship.
I'm so excited.
It should be amazing. As much as I'm not a big fan of Charlotte, she is a good wrestler. Rhea can work with anyone, I think.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, I think Charlotte Flair is the woman they will always depend on to be putting on quality matches. She is so consistent. She's so good. She has a massive hate from loads of people simply because she is felt that she has the same formula as Roman Reigns, that she'll take out any single woman. And I don't think they want to put Rhea over Charlotte. I do not think that's going to happen at all.
Yeah, I mean, I love both Rhea and Charlotte. I think they're both amazing wrestlers. But personally, I think Charlotte's going to win, even though I really want Rhea to win, because I'm a massive Rhea Ripley fan.
Yeah.
Like, I just love everything she does. She looks so brutal, and just like her promos are just really good. Everything about her whole look and everything.
The way that I personally view it is NXT's meant to be a developmental brand, which means the main roster is so much better. They're top dogs, which would make sense that Charlotte should win. This should be an easy night for Charlotte, technically.
Yeah.
She's already done NXT. She's been there, done it. She's been promoted, main roster. But what I still don't quite understand, for me personally, taking away storylines and everything, is why would someone who's on the main roster want to go back to that developmental brand and win that championship just to kind of say, I'm better than you? Because she's already proved that by being on the main roster, winning a load of women's championships, and becoming this big figure of the women's division. Everyone knows Charlotte Flair is probably one of the best women wrestlers that they've got there. And like Horus said, they rely heavily on Charlotte to pull good matches out of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I could think that she would do that is to add to her kind of like record.
Add to her legacy.
To say that she's done that.
I think I think Rhea should win, because if she does, not only does she got a win over Charlotte, she gives the title more prestige than it has.
It helps build NXT and the women's division they've got going on there as well.
What I think is they want to pull on is the fact that Charlotte has beaten Bayley multiple times.
Yeah.
She has beaten Becky Lynch in the past.
Yep.
Rhea holds a win over her just before Survivor Series. So I think she just likes, because she's Charlotte, she likes that I'm better than you attitude, because that's who she is.
Yeah.
And I think something they could do, have involvement in, when the Royal Rumble was finished and Charlotte Flair declared that she was facing Rhea Ripley, she went to NXT, and Bianca Belair, who was feuding with Rhea Ripley at the time, stood with Rhea Ripley to take out Charlotte. So something could be really interesting if Rhea comes to WrestleMania, but she brings women from NXT, and that's what cost Charlotte that win.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
They could almost have it like a lumberjack match, which WWE have not done in a very long time.
Yeah.
I think that'd be quite an interesting concept.
Yeah.
But this could definitely be probably one of the best matches of the night if they allow to do it correctly.
There would have to be a very limited number of people that though.
Yeah. So next we've got the Raw tag team match. We've got the Street Profits. What we reckon, guys? So we got
Street Profits always entertain me.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen much of. Is it Austin Theory and Gaza?
Austin Theory and Angel Garza.
Yeah.
I've seen bits of them. They are entertaining, but
Yeah.
I think this is my chance to see more of Gaza and Angel for me.
Yeah. Well, I think what's great even more is the fact Theory's getting to like pretty much have his big main roster debut at Mania,
Totally.
that's really cool, but also not great because there's no fans. But
Yeah.
I have watched a lot of Angel Garza. I've watched quite a bit of Austin Theory. I've seen plenty of the Street Profits.
yeah,
In WWE's general nature, I do think that once again they're going to give it to the thrown together tag team give them the tag team titles. But to this point, I don't think I'd object, simply because Angel Garza, regardless if he's on an NXT, 205 Live or Raw, he's probably the most entertaining guy on the show, or probably second if there's something with Edge and Randy. He's so good at everything he does, and he's adapted himself to be perfect for the main roster or for that higher level of wrestling in NXT.
yeah. So Vickie, I know you're quite a big fan of the Street Profits. You're quite fond of them. Who are you picking?
I mean, I gotta go with the Street Profits.
Cool.
Like,
So
personally,
moving on. No, I'll stop doing this. I promise. You can carry on speaking if you want.
I've seen quite a bit of Street Profits, but I haven't seen much of Gaza or
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. So this will be a great opportunity for me to see more about them, just like Edin said. But, you know, I like Montez Ford. And I just think that Street Profits should definitely win.
Yeah. For me personally, I would like to see new tag team champions, but I think WWE's going to go with this, build up this tag team a little bit more, because they're still, in the eyes of the fans, they're still quite a new tag team, the Street Profits, and they're an actual tag team, not just two guys thrown together. They're a legitimate tag team, and I think they're going to try and build them up, build up a legacy a little bit. But it would be really nice to see brand new tag team champions, and what amazing thing for Austin 3 if he does get to win this match, WrestleMania debut, almost main roster debut, and go home for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Yeah.
I think both men deserve it.
Yeah.
I think if Fury and Garza do win it, they could because they have heat with Rey Mysterio still, don't they?
They have Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio have been feuding with Garza and Andrade. Andrade's pulled out because of a broken rib.
And it would be pretty interesting if they had won those titles and eventually went on to face Rey and Dominic.
Yeah, when Dominic's ready.
Because Dominic has been thrown about a bit. You've seen him more and more now.
Yeah, which I wouldn't be, we'll see what happens with that one there. So next we've got Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. I almost said Tommy End because I've written down the wrong name. Aleister Black. I'm hoping for a very hard-hitting, big striker match. Vickie almost just fell off her chair. I'm going to put that in here because I swapped my chair, so I'm going to fall off it this time.
Sabotage.
So, yeah, 100%. I'm going to protect my boy Edin and let you take it. So, and again. So you've got Bobby Lashley, Aleister Black. For me, I love Aleister Black.
This match should go 20 seconds. This should be
Hopefully.
Aleister Black sits there for a bit, lets Lashley just kind of walk around him, stands up, black mass. That's the match.
Yeah.
I
And
don't want to see
really,
a Lashley match.
really build up Aleister Black that he can be a main eventer because he can.
Yeah.
Really, Bobby Lashley is a massive guy. He's big, but he's not that main event no more. He's not the big guy anymore. He's just there.
I mean, personally, I think that Lashley's going to win. I don't want him to win. I want Aleister Black to win because I prefer him and I think he's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
But, I just see it going that way.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm worried because Aleister Black, let's take a look at the past year. It's been disastrous.
Yeah.
Before WrestleMania, when he came up with Ricochet as a tag team, that stuff was fine.
That was really good. I enjoyed that.
And then he locked himself in a room and said long words and said he'd pick a fight with someone when he could just go down to the ring and someone would pick a fight with him.
Yeah.
He's looked like an idiot for months, and they've done the best they can to make him seem like a monster again, like he was in NXT with the last 2 weeks in the squash matches.
Yeah.
But again, I just lack of interest in this match.
Yeah. Edin?
I don't know. I want Aleister Black to win, obviously. I can't get behind Bobby after this whole story. I just can't.
After we've done to my boy Rusev, we're just going to leave it there. So, moving on, we got Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. The biggest storyline of the year so far.
Yeah.
I used to like Dolph, but I can't get behind him anymore after what he did to Otis.
I mean, honestly, I think Otis and Ziggler are both very, very entertaining, as it is. So I think this match is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really sure who I want to win. I'm leaning more towards Otis.
Yeah.
Because he's Otis. Yeah. Honestly.
He's to win his peach back.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler I will always think Dolph Ziggler is amazing. He can do everything. He can do the different styles. He can do different styles of heel. He can do comedy. He can do face. He's been able to do everything. And this has just been an amazing build for what should be a very good match. I would like to see Dolph win as the ultimate last kick in the face to Otis.
Yeah.
Simply because I don't think this Mandy Rose stuff is actually going to culminate, and he's not going to get that nice kind of almost fairy tale ending.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Dolph once again just ruining Otis's day.
Yeah, I think that's very typical WWE, and you and me are very much on the same page in this. I'd like Otis to win, but I'm really hoping Ziggler kind of gives that last kick to the face and be like, you're not getting this fairy tale, my friend.
I feel like they're trying to set up a mixed tag match between Otis, Mandy versus Sonya and Dolph. Or have Sonya and Mandy have a rivalry.
Yeah, very much so. So, last match of the night. Very last match of the night is Mr. Big Match John. Wouldn't be WrestleMania without him. and Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. We're going to have to find out in a Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah.
So
If we go off the Boneyard match, this should be pretty entertaining.
hopefully so.
Initial way I looked at it is the same way I look at the Boneyard match when I hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
This will either be really good and a really fun cinematic WWE moment,
Yep.
or it will fall on its face so much that we could probably laugh at how bad it was.
Yeah.
Which is the last thing Bray Wyatt needs right now.
Bray Wyatt is ruined.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Fiend or the Firefly Funhouse presenter, he is just has no aura. He is just a bit like a comedic gag.
Yeah,
and
and
he's
again, like you guys already said, with Goldberg and Braun Strowman, it just makes him look even more stupid
I
now.
mean, it upsets me because when the Fiend first arrived, I was so excited. I thought it was amazing, but the way they've used him, they haven't made it as good as it could be. And
Yeah.
I don't really know how to feel about this match.
Yeah,
Like, it could be really good, but it could be really bad.
yeah,
So I don't know. I'm hoping it will be good.
yeah. So going off that, predictions for this match. Let's go the other way around. So, Vickie, who are you hoping? Who have you got?
I'm hoping that Wyatt wins, but I can see Cena winning. In honesty.
it's difficult. Cena is always going to be the guy in the eyes of Vince McMahon, and that's why I'm going to have to say John Cena.
Yeah, especially with taking time away recently and coming back. So, my love, Edin, who you got?
I've got to say Bray.
Bray?
I've got to say Bray, babe.
Mine's shut up. Mine's very much of a big match John. Again, White really needs it, but big match John's big match John.
Yeah.
So leaving on this, Wrestlemania Night 1, pretty good. We all very much enjoyed it. Night 2 is about to start shortly. Here, everyone at Enigmatic would like to say a massive thank you to the greatest politician of all time, Mr. Horus Cameron.
Thank you. I hope that I've given my message to the people so you're aware of how I'm going to change Genesis Professional Wrestling.
And we've given you an insight into Horus Cameron. And also we're going to see him hopefully on May 9th at Genesis Professional Wrestling alongside Leo Strong.
When I lead him to victory.
There we go. We hope you all are staying safe for these very annoying, tough times. I've been Andros J.
I've been Edin Rise.
I've been Vicky.
Dominic King is at home right now. We hope you're all well, Dominic. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Enigmatic Podcast.
Wash your hands.